Hello, beautiful people! Welcome back to Spiritual Crash. I'm your host, Gethin Mayers, and today we're going to be talking about how to protect your energy. This is one of the questions that I get asked all the time because they're like, how does your social battery last so long? How are you able to protect yourself from negative people? How come you're always so positive? How come you're always still full of life? And that's because I've learned how to actually protect my own energy. So when I was, God, going back before I came into the spiritual movement, I wasn't very good at protecting my energy. I used to feel very drained when I used to talk to people. Don't get me wrong, my social battery didn't quite disappear, but I did feel very, very drained after dealing with people. And it probably had a big impact on why I always wanted to be around people um, rather than being on my own. So it's quite an interesting one because when I was on my own, I felt more drained than I did with people. But I think that's just because I was being an energy vampire myself and I was basically sucking off other people's energy. I'll cover energy vampires later on, but I learned how to protect my energy. I learned how to stay positive and how to just feel refreshed constantly. So I'm going to share that with you. I'm going to share why it's important because, my God, have it changed my life. And I know that once you learn how to protect your energy, it'll change your life as well. Like, it's not going to happen overnight, but it will change your life. And you'll start to look at things in a better light. You'll start to feel better in yourself. And you'll just be able to get on with a lot more for you rather than having to worry about feeling drained and stuff like that. So, why is it important? Well, it's quite simple because if you got better energy, you're feeling yourself better. You're not getting drained by other people. You're able to say no to people. You're able to understand whether you're drained, whether you're full of life. You get the choice to basically learn what you give to other people. You don't have to keep giving to other people. You're able to restrict a little bit for yourself so that you can still feel good. You can still feel happy. You can still feel all these emotions on the bright side. So this is why it's important because no one likes feeling drained. No one likes being like slogged, like run out or anything like that. So it's quite an interesting one, but it's really easy. It's really easy how to give yourself a little pick me up boost, how to protect your energy. And I say it's really easy because it is. It is really easy, but it's hard to implement. So on paper, it's like one of the easiest things you can do, but sometimes we just get too caught up in other people's lives. We forget about our own. And then that's what makes it harder. That's what makes us feel very drained and stuff like that. So basically, the way that you give yourself a pick me up boost is basically just close your eyes or keep them open if you want. And you just say to yourself that I am happy. You know, you just keep repeating to yourself, I am happy, blah, blah, blah. And then if you want to give yourself pick me up boost, what I always do, always just surround myself with big bright light, cover myself in a big bubble, big bright light, just covering myself, and it really does help me when I'm going. I know I'm going to people who are very negative people. I always remind myself that I am a positive person. I'm not gonna let it affect me, and I try to direct the conversation. So if they start talking about like negativity, or I can feel them that they're just feeding off me, I try to direct the conversation so that we don't have to talk about something negative, which also works because obviously if you're going to talk about negative things, it's going to lower your energy, it's going to lower your vibration because we are what we attract. So if we only talk about positive things, then you're going to feel much better in yourself. You know, if we was talking about puppies all the time, you know, you're going to be happy. But then if you was talking about puppies that was being abandoned all the time, you're not going to be that happy, are you? So it's just about picking and choosing like the type of conversations and the environment and stuff that you're putting yourself in. Because obviously, what you surround yourself with is your life. So if you're surrounding yourself with negativity, watching the news, listening to like rap music, that kind of thing, you're going to become more of a negative person. If you surround yourself with a community that are positive, they're all about uplifting you, they're all about supporting you, they're going to make you feel better. Your energy's going to be better. Your energy's going to be more protected. So then when you do have to deal with the more negative people, you're able to put things into place and remind yourself that you are a positive person, you are full of energy, you are full of life, And it's all about learning that the only thing you can control in your life, and I know I say this a lot over the podcast, the only thing you can control in your life is your own actions, your own thoughts, your own emotions. So if you start thinking positively and you start increasing your energy and stuff like that, you'll naturally have more energy. So there is a thing called energy vampires. I did mention it briefly at the start of this episode. So energy vampires, they're basically people who are very negative people to be around. You literally, anytime you talk to them, you always feel very drained. You feel very negative. You don't look for you. So you like them as a people, but you don't look forward to it because you're like, oh my god, I could do without it today. You know, like those type of people. And they're called energy vampires because basically what they're doing is when you're on a high, they basically suck your energy just so that they can function. And what you tend to find is when you're a very positive person, a lot of negative people do tend to be attracted to you because they feel like they can feed off your positivity. I have it all the time, you know, and it don't bother me because I'm very strong-minded with it. I don't let it bother my energy anymore. Whereas before, when I was first learning, my God, I'd deal with like two energy vampires, and I'd feel drained. I'd go to bed, like I'd have headaches and stuff like that. But since coming into the mediumship and the spiritual movement, and obviously you're dealing with a lot of grieving people dealing with the mediumship and stuff like that. So you gotta have good protection because I don't want to be coming home with a lot of the issues and stuff. As selfish as it is, that's their issues. And when I'm giving a reading and stuff, only they should be experiencing it. So you have got a duty of care as a medium to protect yourself, protect other people. And it's really interesting because I love what I do. I'm so passionate about it, but I know leading up to a reading, if it's going to be a hard reading where some uncomfortable things are going to come through, but that's where I just put extra protection in place. So how do you protect your energy is the what you all want to know. Well, like I said, what you surround yourself with. So I swapped out from listening to like rap music and stuff to just listening to country music. Country and I don't know what the other topic is, but it's basically like soft music. The words are more meaningful. You feel uplifted from it. Whereas is no when I was listening to like the raps and stuff, it was all about like drugs, alcohol, um, stabbing people, women, you know, whereas the country, obviously, it is about women and alcohol, you know, 9 times out of 10, there's about a beer and is on about women, but they in a more respectful manner. So when they talk about women, they tend to talk about them in a more respectful manner, more about the fact that they love everything they do. So yeah, I listen to a lot of country music and it's just that little shift. I don't listen to the news. I don't read the newspapers. I don't get involved in gossip because gossip just lowers your mood. If you're getting involved in gossip constantly, you're going to feel your energy and stuff like dipping because you're constantly in other people's drama, other people's business. Everyone got issues going on, but if you're getting involved in other people's business all the time, it's going to affect your mood. It's going to affect your energy. I know people as well who, in their mind's eye, they throw grenades of light towards people to protect themselves. So if there's anyone with a bad energy, they imagine in their mind's eye that they're throwing grenades at people, light bombs they're called, just to fill them up with a bit more light. I personally, anytime I'm around someone who is a little bit negative, I just put an extra layer of protection. I imagine myself in a bright light bubble. And basically, I just fill this bubble up and up and up and just keep adding layers. Any time that I feel like it's dipping, I just add another layer or so. And that's a good way I always do it. So if you're going to go and visit the in-laws and you're not very keen on them, just put a bit of extra protection on and then you'll notice that you start feeling better. Another good tip as well is thinking happy thoughts. Obviously, I know this is harder to do than most, but as we covered recently, you know, your mind is a powerful thing, and if we are constantly saying bad things about ourselves, saying bad things about other people, then we're going to start believing them. Our mood's going to dip, our energy's going to dip. So it's important that we not trick ourselves, but start to believe in the good things. So a smiling, just force yourself to smile. Like all of you right now, wherever you are, just force yourself to smile and then make a note of how you feel smiling. Because like when you naturally smile, so if you notice, I'm always smiling. In all my pictures, pretty much on Instagram, I always got a big smile on my face. Because it just fills me up with so much joy, smiling properly. And you notice it, the smiles are contagious. When you're walking down the street, if someone smiles at you, you naturally smile back. I don't know why it is, but I've done it myself. Even though I'm normally happy, I'm not smiling with teeth. But when someone smiles at me, something in our brain wants us to smile back at them. And it's the same when we kind of see someone who's like frowns at us. We kind of want to frown back at them. But if we train our brain into when someone frowns at us, we smile, you're going to affect their mood and they're going to smile. Does that make sense? So you can make someone's day just by smiling. And it's a hard one because even though you have got to protect your energy, you got to learn to say no so that you're focusing on yourself. It is also important that you help other people because that feeling you get of helping others, it does really truly make you feel better. But there's the fine line between bending over backwards for people who is doing the same thing over and over and not wouldn't do the same for you, to doing something from the heart and helping someone. So it could be like helping someone cross the street. You're all going to feel better for that. Your energy is going to get bigger for that because you feel like you've done a good deed without expecting anything back. Whereas when you're helping like friends, family who are constantly like, oh, can you help? Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? And you're constantly giving to them. And then as soon as you ask them for help, they're nowhere to be seen. That's going to deflate your energy. So it's quite interesting. But once you got protected energy, your energy levels stay up higher. Obviously, I know like things like your diet and stuff like that can affect your mood if you're ill and stuff like that. But even when I'm ill, I'm not as bad as I was, a couple of years ago when I wasn't in the movement. I wasn't aware that your energy can be affected by multiple things. So from my knowledge and from reading all the books, protecting your energy is one of the most key factors of life in order to improve your mental state, in order to improve your lifestyle. It's all about protecting our energy because when you got low energy, everything seems like a burden. So obviously I know that you need a bit of discipline and stuff like that, and a lot of people, we haven't trained our discipline. I'll cover that on another podcast because discipline's like a whole other topic, but it links nicely with your energy because when your mood is lower, you tend to be less disciplined. Whereas if you've got a better energy going about yourself, and you hear people say it all the time in my lives, they're like, oh, I love your vibe, I love your energy, you give off good energy. People will be attracted to you for the energy that you give off. So you want to attract higher quality people. And because you're attracting higher quality people, you want to become a higher quality person. So then the discipline will come into play, doing things that you have to do, even though you don't want to do them. Like today, I wasn't going to record an episode of the podcast, but I was like, I get to record this. I have the opportunity to, and I'm so grateful to be able to help other people. I was going to do it later on in the day, but then if I had done it later on in the day, I probably wouldn't have got it done. So it's kind of like that domino effect. And this is all from the fact that I changed my mindset to up my energy, and you can do the same. So rather than saying I got to do whatever it is you got to do, I got to go to the gym, I got to eat healthy, I got to change my diet, I got to save money. Change that slight word to I get to wash my hair, I get to do the podcast, because that word get makes you feel better because it feels like you're having an opportunity rather than you're forced to do it. So that's another way that I protect my energy, is by changing my word slightly. And don't get me wrong, it don't happen all the time because I'm not very good at English and sometimes I get the wrong words. I'm dyslexic, so some of the letters muddled up. But over time, I do have that mindset that I get to rather than I got to. So I know that you're capable of doing this as well. I know that you would be able to do this. It's going to take a little bit of time to do. But just remember that we control our energy. What we put out into the universe, we have back. So if we're putting out bitchiness, negativity, gossip, drama, we're causing problems for the sake of it, we're doing nasty things, we're going to have a nasty energy about ourselves. If we're doing the opposite, where we're doing good things, we're giving people compliments and meaning them, we're not talking about people behind their back. We're not getting involved in drama. We're staying away from like the news and negative things, because the news is one of the worst things. Because I can't remember the last time on the news. Obviously, I know I don't watch it, but my brother and my dad, they watch it a lot. They watch politics all the time, and I can't remember the last time watching something like that filled me with happiness. Because they're always talking about destruction, gossip, this happened, that happened. There's hardly any other times, or if they do mention it, it just gets washed away by all the negativity that they're trying to share. So, yeah, I stay away from the news, but obviously that's your choice, what you do. Obviously, giving up the drinking, that had a massive effect on my energy as well, giving up the drinking, the gambling, because I really had to sit down with my own mind rather than letting the alcohol take over. So if any of you are drinking uncontrollably, you are having substances that you shouldn't be having, smoking. I've been very lucky. I've never touched a cigarette in my life, whereas there was many opportunities for me to, but it was just one of these things that never appealed to me. And I am so glad I never did. But this can take over your life. This can really have a big impact on your life. The drinking, the smoking, the other substances that you're putting into yourself, they can have a big impact on your energy and the energy you're giving off. Because obviously a lot of the time you have like hangovers, you have come downs, and a lot of the time they're not good, and you really feel it in your energy. Something else I've also noticed is setting a routine. So like waking up at the same time, going to bed at the same time, that also affects your energy, affects your mood. Obviously, I know I'm the worst for it. I haven't got a very good routine at the moment because obviously I don't really need a routine. I do, but I don't, if that makes sense, because like obviously I don't work 9 to 5. My hours are all over the place. So sometimes I'm up late working, sometimes I'm not, but I always wake up in the morning and the first things I always do is I protect myself with the energy, so I cover myself in the light. I say 5 to 10 things I love about myself. So I covered this in an earlier podcast, so if you haven't listened to it, go and check it out. And basically, I do this every morning, and then I meditate for half hour. And the meditation is basically so that I feel confident going forward in the day, because obviously if you're feeling confident, you're going to give off better energy. But again, there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. But yeah, that's just what I do. And protecting your energy is such a big thing. Obviously, I could talk on it all day. I know there's hundreds of millions of different ways to protect your energy, but it's all about the intent of giving out good energy rather than negative energy. Because once you give out good energy, what you tend to be is you build resilience, and people will tend to be coming towards you who are negative, but then you got to learn to say no. And that's basically what it's about, is protecting yourself. So you could go and listen to another podcast, you could go and read a book, and they could tell you a completely different way on how to protect your energy. But all it boils down to is the intent that you're going to be positive, you're going to give good energy. And that's all it boils down to. So that's a little bit on there. We might touch upon it again in the future. Who knows? But that's all I really wanted to cover about it, is because you are capable of protecting your energy. You are able to do what you want. But obviously, just remember that if you're causing harm to other people, you're also causing harm to yourself, because it's going to lower your vibration. And that's always stuck with me as well. So this is why I don't get involved in any of the drama that's going on in the spiritual movement. So the spiritual movement's one of the most bitchy communities I've ever been in. And it's so sad. It's just full of jealousy, ego. I don't get involved in any of this. I just get involved in myself. That's it. I'm just trying to be better than I was yesterday at mediumship, because I got such a passion for it. Whereas all the other, like a lot of them, it's just all about ego. And if someone's better than them, they don't like it. And then they try to destroy their name. And yeah, there's lots of that going on. And I just don't get involved in any of it. When I go to some churches and they're like, have you heard about so-and-so? And I'm like, no, not at all. I don't get involved. So, yeah, that's a little insight to how to protect your energy. I hope it's helped you. Next week's episode, we have got differences between a psychic and a medium. So this is quite an interesting one, because there's always a big debate about it, but that's what we got. in the next episode. So I hope you've all enjoyed. I've enjoyed talking to you all. So this has been Spiritual Crash with Gethin Mayers, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. I believe in you. I am proud of you. Let's go and smash it.